there any interviews that you would actually like to be at? Or would it be interesting to have any that are conversations? Are you sure? You prefer to be completely absent? Okay.
Yeah, because I actually don't want to inhibit what they may say.
Okay.
The more candid they are, the more entertaining it will be, I think.
Yeah.
If you say, well, I do odd things, you have to demonstrate the odd things.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so, I mean, if that's the theme, then you've got to find the odd things that I do.
Oh wow!
This thing's amazing for the face. Could you? It's Nigel. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Could you actually hold this?
Yeah.
Just. You just sit there and then aim this towards his face.
So anyway, yes, I loved working at the ROC, but it was nothing like working here. It's, you know, there's something about it.
Move closer.
Must be the lunch.
You probably want to move the chair over this way.
Whose water is this?
Where?
Yeah, that looks good, yeah.
Just before, you don't happen to have a list of dates when, I can't remember what date exactly the one that I did.
Shades of Brown.
Shades of Brown, do you?
You know, I wish,
Would that
do
be
we have it
anywhere?
in the notes from...
Yeah, look downstairs.
No, in the notes from Dan, didn't you write it down?
He didn't say what
That
date it
doesn't
was.
matter, I'll just...
Yeah, it was...
I'll go see if I can find out.
Yeah, I think you'll have to call Dan at the Crown, Ollie. The way it's going to be in the documentary, Stash is going to ask you some questions.
Just say something else against it.
Hello everyone, welcome to the King's Head documentary. Stash, you want to take...
Whatever you said, yeah.
Right now?
Yeah, sure. Nice. So we can just take our time on it.
Hold it like over it.
Right, no pressure on that.
Right.
So what about starting with something like, what was it like working here? Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely. It's like I was back in '79, could get the opportunity of playing a wonderful part like I did, and be, supported by a very good production by a lady called Joan Camp Welsh. I remember being amazed that year. I was nominated for the Evening Standard Awards for my performance in here, which had never happened to me before.
The very fact that he is entrepreneurial and a maverick figure, sadly, do you think that's maybe why the grant was taken away?
It requires imagination to fund a place like this, because it is not, as we've said, a conventional, it's not run conventionally, and it doesn't operate as a conventional theatre.
As we can hear, the beer barrels are being delivered as we speak downstairs.
Pub theatre, a very original theatre, and we must treasure it as it is.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is straight into...
You can look at her camera, that's good.
And I met the woman, not the legend. I was in a taxi cab going up the Champs-Élysées with Marlene. We were going to the pictures. Mm-hmm. And there was a huge traffic. All you could see in the dusk was the rear lights going up and the headlights coming down. And I said to her, "Oh, look at this traffic jam, Marlene, we're going to be late." She said, "Oh, sweetheart, isn't it beautiful? Rubies going up, diamonds coming down." Now, whenever I'm in a traffic jam, I think, look at that, rubies going up. And it does help.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
It's a lovely line.
Did
But
she
of course,
see the world?
I go down to Wales and tell my cousin, "Oh, for you, Vic, in a bloody traffic jam with bloody Marlene Dietrich."
Yeah.
How about the traffic outside my stag on a Friday?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
So
Just say a few words.
Just
Yeah.
close the door and then stay right there.
Sure thing. You okay?
Perfect.
We going?
Excellent. So whenever you're ready,
Good.
I'm all set up here.
Good.
Just make sure nobody gets in the way of any light.
Oh, that heater needs to go off. That in the fan. Yeah.
Fan, yeah. Them are all set.
And are we doing it to? We're talking together.
Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
aiming this
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I talk over there.
You're
I
talking
don't
over
talk
there.
here.
No, just talk over to
Okay.
Stash.
Don't ask me dates. I don't even know what date it is today.
Neither do I.
When were you playing here? Christ, I don't know. Tomorrow. Can you better stop the music? Get the end up. We'll have a talk about the case forward. You'll have the end up once that review. And you get the children in the all. Right, the captain cut the sort of off in. And you get the children at the review. And you get the children in there, eh? The actors never knew what I was saying. It's with Joan Littlewood, this brilliant stage director, doing Lovely War. Everybody came to see it. And the Beatles came. George Harrison said, you got to be in our film, Vic. He said, you got to be in all our films. I said, why? He said, well, if you're not in them, me mum would come and see him because she fancied you. And so it was that started that whole thing. So it's one of those things that people say, come and do it.
But how did it compare doing it from the Sydney Opera House to the West End to then come here? Was the intimacy? Did you enjoy the intimacy of the small space here?
Intimacy is wherever I am. It can be in the Opera House in Sydney, it could be on the QE2, or it could be the King's Head. Because Joan Littlewood said, we are collectors. You collect. We bring people in. She didn't like Brecht, keeping people out. No, keep over there. No, bring them in. You can say, hey, damn, the business has gone up. I should have some more money now. And the eyes glaze over. And he says, but we're not doing. I said, no, don't do that to me. And he doesn't. Mind you, have to ask.
Okay.
Well, nothing. I'm at the King's Head. You don't do that. You say, the King's Head. Oh yeah, what you doing? It's made it mark.
Sorry, Victor.
The box office.
It must be.
God love him, he's dead now. But the guy who directed the all those. Wait a minute. Stop a minute. I've got to get his name. I'm terrible with names.
What shows did he direct on?
John Schlesinger.
John Schlesinger, yeah, okay.
So just pick it up from a lot of people came to see him. Yeah.
A lot of people came to see it, and one night I look up and there's John Schlesinger.
That was beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah. Two poets.
Really lovely. Thank
That
you
was
so much.
beautiful.
I last worked with you with doing the Chronicles of Narnia, the radio play.
Yes.
You played the monkey.
That's right, that's right. I love radio.
I love radio too.
See, if you want to keep something forever, you have to give it away. Otherwise, if you want love, give it. If you want interest, give it. If you want intelligence, give it. If you want joy, give it.
Go upstairs.
Bobby, could you hold this door for a second? Could you hold the door for a second?
Go to the rafters.
No, it's press. Who cares? Not happy with some of the pictures that were going in the magazine.
Because
Really? Yeah.
I thought I would shoot some myself.
Yeah.
The Welsh coming out, because it
Yeah.
always makes me laugh, isn't it?
Yeah, go on to.
I know, he's so
Okay.
I don't know where the Italian is, these little pink
Wait.
ones.
Yeah.
Can we take a few more with just you in the black t-shirt?
Sure.
Try to think of the consequences, Pauline. Now just try for... It was a bit of a snap in. It's arrived.
I think we need to fade up there, Simon.
Even then, you have no right in law or otherwise to do what you've done. Think of the consequences, Pauline.
He's
Now,
coming, he's coming.
That's perfect.
And then I'll put the gun in my mouth and I'll pull the trigger.
Have you met Stash?
We've briefly said hello.
Yes, you have.
He's our interviewer. And you might have seen him on the King's Head stage over the years.
we have.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm sure we've met. I think we have.
Yeah.
I think we have.
He was in the famous Five and Ring Around the Moon and what else did you do here?
Yeah, about
Romeo
five
and Juliet.
productions. Yeah. So,
In
yeah.
fact, we worked out we probably better interview him. We probably have about 50 people that could be interviewed. June Brown, Dot on Coronation Street. We were going through the posters with Jay the other day and he was saying, well, Douglas Henshaw's really famous now, Ewan Bremner. There are all these people. We could go on forever. We could do like a 3-part series on this. And everyone is mad, just like Dan. I mean, that's the wonderful thing. You know what I mean? So it's like begets like. I mean, everyone is completely sort of mavericks.
Like a magnet, really.
Yeah, really.
It's actually
only allows you closer.
it's very good if you can sit forward during the interview as well, because that looks great. It's very balanced.
Okay, mobiles on. And again, bearing in mind that we're coming back to these, if you kind of inject them with a fairly positive beginning, so that we can cut into very clear.
We're not actors. What is our motivation?
Tell us the basic outline story of Slice of Saturday Night and how it came to the King's Head Theatre.
Well, we did a tryout in Brighton.
And then we started setting up tours
with Dan.
You know, you start worrying about sets and costumes, and whereas here you just go and see the product.
So the play is the thing, really.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. The actors
and the material.
They love everything about theatre except for actors or whatever.
Yeah.
He has so many of them, being a priest, a father, a lover, you know, all these things that a director needs to be. For you guys, what do you make of Dan?
Well, he was.
Dan's just Dan to us, you know. He's the one-off. First of all, he's a friend, yeah, but it's just like a very unique character.
You can either do it individually or all at once. We can take it individually, but it's a fairly simple question: is Dan mad?
No, I wouldn't say mad.
Dan is
eccentric.
Eccentric,
but certainly not mad.
Certainly not mad.
Okay,
Nice.
thank you very much indeed, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll see you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks, Freddie.
Thanks a lot.
Nice meeting you.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is it ever going to be an appropriate time to get a little bit of it on camera?
So intense at this point. Maybe the top of the show when it's funny. Because after the third scene, it's
But isn't that what we want to try to get?
what, the really intense stuff?
Because and we're going to only end up with a small, obviously we've got so much material, we can only have a small amount of it in the documentary, so it's like, what do you think you'd like to be represented in the documentary, really?
I feel a certain affinity with Dan because of doing more than one thing, and so on and so forth. And then tell us a little bit about your background within the answer to that question.
Okay.
So basically, we're just sort of putting you together as another Maverick, and your sympathies with Dan because of that, you know, doing things your way.
High budget.
Oh yeah.
What do you call this one over here?
He's doing the behind the scenes.
Okay.
Making of the DVD market, you see.
Okay. Somebody's baby.
You've brought. You're bringing Death and the Maiden here to the King's Head through your production. How's the space working for you?
He's brilliant at lighting, one of the best lighting designers I've ever seen. But that doesn't run a theater. You know, you've got to be able to read scripts and audition actors and direct plays and run the front of house. And that's what Dan does.
Hello, Sid. Good morning. It's Stash here from the King's Head. How you doing? Good. I left a message last night just to say, any chance of us interviewing you today at 2 o'clock? Would that be convenient for you? Okay. Well, we'll see you in the bar between 2 and 3. Thanks, Sid. Bye. And that'll be good. Good value is our Sid. Mr. Sid
right.
Gold for lunchtime. Yeah, he's wonderful. That's wonderful. Did you speak to him?
Email.
Who's this?
Dennis Lawson.
Ah, that's great.
Can we do him with a helmet and orange glasses?
I was going to say that don't mention Star Wars.
We found a cheaper one, so I'll sell it again. It's always profit. You never know, I might make a profit.
Yeah. Okay, which one should I write?
Details of the special offer.
For the first 2 weeks of the show, between the 20th of July and the 2nd of August, all of the tickets are on class.
Nice to meet you.
Catherine's doing stills and
Hi,
you know
hi,
Stash.
Catherine. I don't know Stash, but I've spoken to you. Lovely to meet you.
You too, very much.
It's very dark in here.
Yeah, well, you're going to look absolutely beautifully lit. I mean, if you want someone to sit there and look, do you want to look and see?
No,
how good it
no,
looks? It's
no, I'm
absolutely
sure.
gorgeous. It's just like you'll just kind of shine.
I'm sure you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
God, I'd
yeah,
be the
no,
last one to
it's
tell you.
wonderful,
Don't do
wonderful.
that.